Why do people talk behind the backs of those who are simply trying to do their work? And why do the ones who ignore it quietly move further ahead? In a busy town, there was a small bakery called Golden Crust. Every morning, the smell of fresh bread filled the entire street. Inside the bakery worked a young man named Lucas. Lucas was not the loudest person in the shop. He didn't argue, he didn't gossip. He simply came to work every day before sunrise. While the rest of the town was still asleep, Lucas was already inside the kitchen, mixing flour, kneading dough, preparing trays of bread and pastries. He loved the craft. But not everyone admired his dedication. Some of his co-workers whispered about him. "Look at him trying so hard," one would say. "He probably thinks the owner will make him manager," another joked. Sometimes they laughed quietly while Lucas worked. Maybe he just likes showing off. Lucas heard these things. Of course he did.
The bakery kitchen was small. Whispers travel easily in small places. For a few days, those words bothered him. He wondered if people really thought he was pretending, if they believed his hard work was just a show. One afternoon, while cleaning trays after a long shift, the bakery owner noticed Lucas unusually quiet. The owner, Mr. Harris, had run the bakery for more than 30 years. He had seen many kinds of workers. He walked over and asked gently, "Something on your mind?" Lucas hesitated before answering. "Some people here think I'm trying too hard just to impress you. They talk about it when I'm not around." Mr. Harris smiled calmly. Then he picked up a small piece of dough from the table. "Let me show you something," he said. He placed the dough on the counter and began kneading it slowly. "Do you hear the noise outside?" he asked. Lucas listened. Customers were chatting. Street vendors were calling out. People walking past were talking loudly. "Now watch this," Mr. Harris said. He placed the dough into the oven. The door closed. Inside the oven, the dough quietly began to rise. No noise, no attention, just heat and time. After a while, Mr. Harris opened the oven. The small piece of dough had turned into a perfectly baked loaf. Golden, warm, beautiful. Mr. Harris handed it to Lucas. "Do you know why the bread rises?" he asked. Lucas shook his head. "Because it stays focused on the heat inside the oven," Mr. Harris said. "It doesn't react to the noise outside." Lucas looked at the bread in his hands. Mr. Harris continued, "People will always talk. Sometimes they talk because they are curious, sometimes because they are jealous, and sometimes simply because they have nothing else to do." He paused before adding, "But if bread reacted to every noise outside the oven, it would never rise." Lucas smiled slightly. That night he thought about those words. The next morning he arrived at the bakery again before sunrise, just like always. The whispers continued for a while. The jokes continued too. But Lucas stopped reacting. He simply focused on his work. Weeks passed, then months. Customers slowly began noticing something interesting. Whenever Lucas worked the early shift, the bread tasted better. The pastries looked more perfect. More people started visiting the bakery. One afternoon, a food blogger visited the shop and wrote an article praising the bakery's quality. Sales increased. The bakery became one of the most popular spots in town. Soon, Mr. Harris gathered the employees together. "I have an announcement," he said. "As the bakery grows, I need someone to manage the kitchen." Everyone looked at each other. Some expected one of the louder employees to be chosen. But Mr. Harris simply smiled and said, "Lucas will take the role." The room went silent. Some of the same co-workers who once whispered behind Lucas's back now looked surprised. Lucas didn't say much. He simply thanked Mr. Harris and returned to work. Later that evening, Mr. Harris spoke quietly to him again. "See what happened?" he said. Lucas nodded. "Yes." Mr. Harris smiled. "Bread rises because it focuses on the heat that makes it grow, not the noise outside."
Because people will always talk behind your back, but their words only matter if you stop your work to listen. And those who keep doing their job quietly rise higher than the noise ever can.